Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about turntables because that's my newest thing. If you know me very well, you know that I go through phases where I'll get on a kick about something and then I'll get right for the axle about it. And I want to learn as much as I can about it and really get involved. I've done it with antique outboards. I've done it with, lawn equipment there for a while. Right now it's vintage turntables. So I'm learning a lot more about them. I just picked this Technics up, SL-B10, off of Marketplace not that long ago. I knew that it worked because I saw a video of it working in the ad. Um, I got it for a good price. The only thing wrong with it that I've found so far is the tab is broken on the dust cover, which is very common with Technics, as I'm learning, to the point to where a lot of people, well, there are companies here in America and in China that make a kit where you shave these off and you put a metal bracket here that replaces this plastic tab, acrylic tab. So that's broke, which is no big deal. And the dust cover is scratched up. I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera, but I'm going to be buffing that. I want to get that looking good, and I'm going to buy the kit to replace the plastic or acrylic tabs. But it's SL-B10. Um, I opened it up, I cleaned it, I oiled it, I greased it just because I wanted to know that it was in good shape and good to go, even though I already knew it worked. I wanted to make sure that it was ready to last me for years of enjoyment. My journey to get here is this, mostly nostalgia. I grew up, obviously, like many Gen Xers did, or just about every Gen Xer, I would imagine, listening to my dad's record players. And um, I don't know, it's that midlife thing where I want to go back to that. You can buy new record players, new turntables off Amazon for 30 bucks. Um, I'm more of a vintage guy. I don't like the new disposable electronics they put out. I like the actual vintage stuff. There's going to be more content about it, but I have three other turntables in the queue waiting for me to repair and or service them so that I can sell them and get them back out there and use to keep them out of the landfill. I like saving old stuff. So I want to talk. I want to let everybody know. First of all, I understand that nobody's going to care about this. This is a me thing, and I'm okay with that. This is it is what it is. If you don't want to watch, if you don't want to see what albums I have, cool. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to offend me by not watching. Um, but I am going to talk about the albums that I have bought so far. I picked them up from antique stores. There's a couple different record shops I went to, vinyl stores. Um, I'm going to Arkansas in October, and I will be visiting Jones Boogie Records, which is a buddy of mine I graduated high school with, Jared Harvey. It's his store, so I intend to give him some business. Uh, so some of the albums I bought were albums that my dad had that I grew up listening to, and I bought purely for this. I'm not going to say purely for nostalgia, mostly for nostalgic reasons, but I also like the songs. Um, he had some albums that I didn't like any of the songs. I'm not going to buy those. But we're going to start with Jim Stafford. I grew up listening to Jim Stafford. This particular record right here, and the songs on here that I really like are Wildwood Weed, 16 Little Red Noses and a Horse That Sweats, Spiders and Snakes, Swamp Witch, and of course, nobody could forget the classic My Girl Bill. So, solid album. I love that. This was the first album I tried on my new to me record player, my turntable, a little bit ago, and that's on another video. So go watch another video of me cleaning and servicing the turntable, and on the end of that, I'll put on this. I haven't posted it yet, but I will be. So if it's not up yet, check back. Uh, there's another Jim Stafford album that my dad had that I liked, and the one song that really stuck out in my head on this one is "Your Bulldog Drinks Champagne." Uh, it was a good song, and of course, nobody could forget the song "I Got Stoned and Missed It." So before Afro Man got high, Jim Stafford was getting stoned. So I got the best of Guess Who. My dad had this album. I love this album. It's solid all the way through. Um, they're known for American Woman and to a lesser extent No Sugar Tonight, New Mother Nature, um, which are good songs, but the rest of these songs are really good too. It's not like Steppenwolf, which I will get to when I get to that album. So my dad had Tanya Tucker, TNT, um, major crush on Tanya when I was a kid. The songs that I really remember from here is Not Fade Away, Love Her Goodbye, and Brown Eyed Handsome Man. I like to think that she was manifesting me when she wrote that. But sorry, Tanya, I'm taken. So I got Larry Gatlin's Greatest Hits. I love this album. Um, he's known for Broken Lady, mainly, actually. I think that was his only big hit off this album. But I like the entire album. For some reason, Sweet Becky Walker was my very favorite song off this album when I was a kid. Um, but I really enjoy the way the Gatlin brothers harmonize together. They sound really good. I've always like even before I understood music or what I don't really enjoy or I don't really understand music deeply right now. I just know what I like. But I've always enjoyed harmonizing. So I mentioned earlier Steppenwolf. I don't think this was the same Steppenwolf album my dad had, but it's got all the same songs. Um, and like just like the other album I was talking about, this one's solid all the way through. Born to Be Wild, Magic Carpet Ride are the two songs they're known for the most. Those are the biggest hits. But Hey Lottie Mama, The Pusher, Sookie Sookie, these are all the way through. This is a good album. So I'm looking for a list of that. This one my dad did not have. I picked this up for $2 or $3. It's got some 60s beach songs on there. Beach Boys, Surfer Girl, Surfing by the Beach Boys. They really weren't very imaginative when it comes with the new song titles. But Alley Oop, Bye Bye Love by the Everly Brothers. There's some real classics on there. Good songs. And then from my childhood, John Cougar Mellencamp, Pink Houses, Crumbling Down, Authority Song. Um, it's a good album. It was $5, so I picked that up. Now this album, I've only heard one song off of. Around 2020 or so, when I was working with BAE, there was a woman in the office that I was talking about music with, and she put me on the song Iron Swan by a band called The Sword. And I listened to it and I loved it, and it's on my playlist. Having said that, I never went down that rabbit hole. I never listened to any of their other stuff. I do like that song enough to know that I'm confident that I'm going to like the rest of this album. This is doom metal, also known as space metal or stoner metal. Um, but it's really good. Well, that song is really good. I have faith that the rest of it's going to be good too. I'm looking forward to listening to it. So, of course, I had to get AC/DC, Back in Black. That was a classic. This whole album is a banger, front to back. When I listen to this era of AC/DC, it takes me back to 1988. It was a summer between 11th and 12th grade. I had a job working at Hayes Super Warehouse Foods there in Jonesboro, Arkansas. My very best friend Brian was at Army Reserve Basic Training, and AC/DC was coming to the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis. And back then, before the internet, you had to go to the record store to buy tickets, and they were going on sale at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I camped out overnight on the sidewalk to get in line to buy tickets. I was probably roughly 15th one in line, and I got there like 10 o'clock the night before. I got there 12 hours before they went on sale. But it was worth it. I got 12th row floor, like center stage for Brian and I. And we took Brian and me. For Brian and me. I sound like I went to school in Arkansas. We took his Camaro down there. Now, fun fact, I have never smoked pot or done any other kind of drugs. I did have a drinking issue for a few years, but I've never smoked pot. But it was at this AC/DC concert in 1988 that I got a contact buzz or contact high, whatever you call it. I don't know what you call it. I didn't smoke marijuana, but I got high from marijuana because that concert was pretty thick. And honestly, I liked it a lot. Not enough to go smoke marijuana, but I still liked it a lot. But that was a good time. It takes me back to Brian Malone. Rest in peace, Brian. And of course, I had to pick out some Bon Scott era AC/DC because I really like the Bon Scott era also. I like Bon Scott and Brian Johnson. I would have to say equally. They're different, but they're both good in their own respect. But about Let There Be Rock, because of the song Let There Be Rock, and because of Problem Child and A Whole Lot of Rosie. Mostly because of A Whole Lot of Rosie. That's one of my favorite Bon Scott era AC/DC songs. It's A Whole Lot of Rosie. But that's a great album all the way through. Let's see. Got Pearl Jam's 10. I believe that's the name of this album. That's a solid album all the way through. I had this cassette. I played the hell out of it in my 1988 Toyota Tercel that I bought for 22% interest on Military Highway. If you know, you know. My first ship, I won $10 from a guy who said that there was a song on here called Tattoo. And the song he was talking about is actually called Black. And I told him, I said, no, that's not the name of that song. The song's called Black. It's named Black. He said, no, it's not. It's Tattoo. I said, well, I'll bet you $10 that it's Black. And something to know about me is I won't make a bet unless I know 100% for a fact that I know I'm right. And I knew I was right, and I won $10. So great album all the way through. They, for whatever reason, started sucking after this. They had a couple of okay songs along the way, but they did not match this album again. So great song. Here's a newer album I'm a big Caesar fan. I don't speak Latin, so bear with me. CV Pecum Parabellum. I think that's how you say it. I don't know, but this whole thing is great, front to back. Dangerous, buried in the sand, beg, liar, drift away, wasteland. The whole thing is really good. So I'm looking forward to checking that out, listening to that. Now, I will say that I like Metallica. I'm not a huge Metallica fan. Uh, my I thought that they had really solid music up to the Black Album. After the Black Album was okay, and after the Black Album was hit or miss, in my opinion. They had some good songs after that, um, but they weren't as consistently good. Their sound changed with the Black Album. I like their pre-Black Album sound, uh, but one of their absolute best albums, in my opinion, is Ride the Lightning. So I had to get that. Jam this tape many nights in my 22% Tercel. Um, the whole every single song is great on this album. I love it. Likewise, Master of Puppets, another great album front to back. So I'm looking forward to relaxing to some early thrash played on a classic vinyl turntable. And then last but not least, if you know me, there's no way I would have ever gone record shopping without picking up some Tool. So I'm going to end up with every Tool album that they have on vinyl. They never released their 2000 box set Salival on vinyl, unfortunately. From what I understand, you can find bootlegs out there, but I don't want to buy bootlegs. Salival is probably my favorite Tool album. Um, but I started with the first two. I got Opiate, the first EP, and Undertow, their first full length studio album. Um, so I'm looking forward to checking those out. And I will be getting Lateralis 10,000 Days and unfortunately Fear Inoculum, just so I could have them all. Fear Inoculum's got a couple okay songs on it, but in my opinion, it's their worst album. Um, anyways, what are we going to do here? We are going to open up and start playing. Before I end this video, if I can open it up. Oh my goodness, what did they seal this with? There we go. We'll play a little AC/DC. And we're going to sit back and we're going to remember Brian Malone and we're going to remember that concert and we're going to remember just the good times. If I can get the thing out. Side one. Yep. I intend to spend many nights sitting here enjoying my new to me turntable. It is, as the kids say, a whole vibe. With that, I'm going to go. Y'all have a good night. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.